Have you ever had that I'm in over my head and they're going to find out feeling? Talking about imposter feelings is a start, but you can't share your way out of imposter syndrome.
Where you worry that your success isn't real or that you've just been lucky. One study suggests that up to 70% of the population experiences imposter syndrome at some point in their career.
Imposter syndrome is created in childhood when our parents deny our authentic self. They do this by shaming us and shaming that authentic self because they're trying to control us into becoming what they want. When a person is experiencing imposter syndrome, they're having a massive shame attack. We're experiencing what is called carried shame.
Imposter syndrome doesn't care about the truth. It doesn't matter whether you have the title, whether you have years of experience, whether everybody around you is telling you how amazing you are. The reality is, imposter syndrome, in fact, it's even more likely to crop up the more evidence you have around you of how great and how deserving you are. It doesn't care about the fact. It's only interested in reminding you and making you feel like a fraud.
Welcome everybody to the Imposter Syndrome Summit interview for today. Today is the 17th of June. I am your Imposter Syndrome coach, Coach Mary Medley. Yesterday we spoke to the amazing Athena Danilo, and today we are excited to have yet another expert with us. I will introduce her. Humaira Syed is a purpose-driven mindset coach, helping people refine, redefine, and redesign their life purpose to create the life of their dreams. She supports timid folks to stretch their comfort zone, overcome shyness, mental blocks, and limiting beliefs, find their focus and clarity so as to reach their personal and professional excellence and ultimately transform into leaders. She has studied multiple disciplines in psychology, business leadership, and art therapy graduate, along with different certifications. She uses the KAIZEN philosophy to construct her signature coaching model, which involves a unique combination of holistic leadership psychology, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, NLP, using strategic mind mapping and systems thinking tools with a flavor of ZEN Meditation to help you become an energetic match to everything you desire. She is also the author of 3 books, 55 Habits of Mind Mastery, Dare to Trust Yourself, and Purpose Unlocked. Her writing is inspired by her own struggles of finding her life purpose and the desire to share this finding with the world. She once read that if you can't find a role model to follow, become one. So her life purpose is to impact as many lives as she can by sharing the insight and experience she has earned from her struggles and learning. Maria, welcome to the summit. Welcome to today's interview.
Thank you very much, Mary. And I'm excited to be here and sharing my insight and also learning from you and many people out there. Thank you once again.
You're very welcome. We're very humbled to have you for taking the time. Right now you are in Japan, so I know it's very early there. I want to say thank you for that, for rising early and having me among the first things that you do. I don't know if I left out anything in the introduction or you're good to go.
Great. Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. And I think you have comprehensively explained whatever I do. In fact, I wouldn't be able to explain this much precisely because, when you explain what you do, you want to tell everything. And that's how you just keep on saying a lot of things. But the precise thing is I help people who are stuck somewhere in their career, not necessarily in their professional career, in their life, their like emotional relationships, anywhere they feel stuck. I help them with the help of my own learnings and my own certifications that I have done with hypnotherapy, the Zen meditation and stuff. And um, I would be happy to share a lot of things regarding what I do. But here, I just want to say is when my clients are out of their pressure zones and or their comfort zones, and they are finally where they are, or they want to be, their excitement is everything for me, and that gives me energy to keep moving on and helping many more out there. So thank you once again for having me tonight.
You're very welcome. I'll go straight into the questions. I've
Sure.
asked all the experts this as a first question. Tell us your
Hmm.
story on how
Hmm.
you experienced imposter syndrome and how you
Hmm.
have been brave enough to find your purpose.
Oh wow, that is something huge. So I wasn't expecting the very first question to be very very deep. So all right, so I'm from Pakistan, and from a culture where mostly the patriarchy is there, and are more into the men dominated structures. And there, a girl who wants to do something different from the public or the society is something like a rebel. And that's where I got stuck, and I was having a lot of pressures from my family or culture to study specific disciplines, to go for teaching or go for something that women usually do and not men do. So for me, my mindset was a different thing. So my brother always says I'm a rebel in my family. So I said no, I don't want to do teaching, very specific teaching for high schoolers, and that's it. It doesn't mean that teaching is not good. It means I'm not for that profession. So it took me quite a while to like convince my family or my parents, or like make them feel that what I want to do is actually good for me. So I studied multiple disciplines back in my study years, and I wasn't satisfied with my fine arts. I wasn't satisfied with my mathematics, and eventually I ended up studying psychology, and that's where I find a little bit more satisfaction, and gradually going to study the training and development. But what happened was when I stood up first time on the stage for my webinar, it was a kind of seminar where you are presenting your papers of masters. And I was standing there, and I had a lot of papers in front of me, and I had no words to speak. And my legs were shaking, my hands were shaking, and my teacher was asking me to speak up. And the audience were there, and I was like, I don't want to speak at all. I mean, this stage is not for me. And then my teacher thankfully helped me. He approached me and he started speaking and started questioning me about my paper and my all this research I had done. And that's how I ended up that seminar. But after that, I found that there's something that bring me here. It's not my research or my expertise that brought me here, but maybe my teacher helped me and brought me here. He was kind enough to do me this favor. And then this imposter syndrome was on its peak. Whatever I have done so far is not my expertise, but some luck has helped me. So, somebody from the outside has helped me, but it's not something inside me. So yeah, it continued for lot lot of time. Like after that, I started my trainings career, and I thought I was lucky enough to get this job. And then I started teaching and training people, and people were inspired by me. And I thought they are inspired just because I am standing on the stage or in front of them. If I am sitting beside them, they won't be inspired. So there were a lot of self-limiting thoughts that were coming throughout my career until I came here, and I got selected in an MBA degree in Tokyo, and that's where another big imposter came in. I was studying with 34 different nationality people, international people, coming from Pakistan, a limited community, to somewhere where you are into this society where a lot of people are from many dynamic careers. And I started struggling harder and harder to reach up to the standards of them. And finally, cutting it short, I ended up being in top five students of the class. And my research was appreciated tremendously, and it was selected as a best research project. And that's where I I was studying Zen, and Zen helped me to just deep reflect inside myself. It's not somebody from outside who's helping me throughout my successes. It's the Humaira inside who's doing all the wonders so far. So that was the enlightening moment. That was the aha moment that I realized that it's me. I'm doing all this struggle and hard work, and I'm getting this success, and I'm entitled to that success. And Mary, it was a long journey. I explained it very shortly, but it was a lot of pressures, a lot of self-destructive thoughts, a lot of giving up moments. The only thing that I'm thankful of is I didn't give up. And that's why I'm here sitting in front of you talking about something that I help people with and something that I have gone through. So the struggle was real, the effort was real, but the fruit is so precious that I love all the struggles. So I'm happy that I found this, and I'm happy that I can help others with this.
I love that you said the struggle was so deep, but I love the struggles because I think that that's a beautiful way to look at our struggles, because we tend to just feel the suffering at the moment. We don't
Mhm.
realize the fruits that we get out
That's
of
correct.
it. So,
That's correct.
based, based on your experience and knowledge, where does imposter syndrome come from?
All right. So, from my experience, well, imposter is something that is, as researchers show, like more than 70% of people have this imposter syndrome feeling inside them. So, the sources can be different. For me, it was kind of the external expectations that my family or my culture had from me, and I had a standard to follow. And when you don't um, really follow that standard, or when you are not able to follow that standard, you feel that you are different, and this different being different is not a good thing in such culture. So that from my experience, that was coming from a pressure that my culture and my family was putting on me to be a very good daughter, to be a very good girl. And that good girl doesn't have to be very sharp and very exciting, but just very humble and soft and follow the rules. So yeah, and and it also comes from many different ways, not only from the family pressures or the culture. It can also come from your bad experiences with your struggles. You worked hard and you didn't get the success that you wanted or you expected. It can come from that as well. And yeah, there are many other different reasons imposter comes from. But in my case, it was more of the expectations that I was facing from my surroundings. Yeah.
In what ways does imposter syndrome keep you from finding your purpose?
Hmm. So there, the answer could be longer, but if I want to be precise, it it stops you from being you. You know what? It stops you from being your authentic self. And once you are not being you, that means you are not enjoying the process. You are not doing the things that you want, and then you are just following the routine. And imposter syndrome, if let's say, for example, when I am having a success in somewhere in my career or in my job, and I'm feeling that this job success is not because of my expertise or talent, but because of my seniors or my leaders, like good. attitude towards me or favor towards me, that whatever I have done was not worth it. Whatever the struggle and hard work I did throughout my career or my job was not good enough. And what it gives me is low self confidence, low self esteem, self pittiness, and dependency. So when you are dependent on some external luck or some external support, that means you are giving up on your talents. And that is the uh, sorry for my words, but that is the worst thing that you are going to do with yourself. You are just limiting yourself. And when you limit yourself, you don't see your caliber. You just see, or you just keep waiting for the external support. And then, you know what happens? You try to work harder to come up to the expectations of others. Like, for example, you got the success, and next time you work harder because this might be the support from or favor from others, but next time they might not favor you. And then you work harder and then you get success again, and then you think like, okay, they gave me another favor. You were not worth it. You don't look into your efforts and struggles, and it gives you exhaustedness. Your energy gets low, your health gets low, and your emotional self is just destroyed. So what is the good tip here is just give a pause. I won't say give yourself value. It's not possible in one moment or one day. Give a pause. Stay silent, and what I studied in Zen, keep silent and reflect inside. And sometimes that reflection gives a lot of good value, and that's how you can just step up the better version of yourself.
Um, in your book, you discuss the imposter syndrome cycle.
Hmm.
Please describe it for us and how do you break it?
Okay, so imposter cycle, as I mentioned, is a continuous process. As I just mentioned, when you get success, you think that it was some external luck or favor, and then you work hard and get another success, and then you again think that it's a again favor from the outside or the luck. How to break that cycle is an act of bravery, I would say. That's why I said like I'm brave because you need to be a little bit braver than before to break this cycle. And how you do it, I just explained a moment ago, is to give a moment of silence or pause to yourself. Pause it, stop it, and reflect back. In psychology, we call it journal writing or reflection or meditation. And in Zen, it says just reflect, pause and reflect. And that reflection should not have to be like for 1 hour or 30 minutes. It can be just 5 minutes. Just sit down, calm, and just note down whatever you have achieved. And once you have that list, you can just mention what was your effort and what was the luck support. And it will be wonderful experience, and you will be surprised that most of the things were your effort. So luck was just a little bit of it, and that was just in your mind, not in your reality. So when you make the distinction between what was luck and what was your hard work, that's how you will find more value in your self hard work. Yeah.
I think that you may have also answered the question from yesterday's speaker, Athena
Hmm.
Danila. Her question was, what is the one way that practicing Zen helps silence the imposter voice? So, are you
I
able to expound on, maybe for those who don't know, what
okay.
exactly is the Zen practice and how
Hmm.
can they insert that practice into their personal development with imposter syndrome?
Oh, that's a great question. So I was expecting it. So let me explain you Zen a little bit. Zen is a kind of meditation where you don't think anything. Now, I know that is difficult. So, in meditation, usually what we do is we reflect on our breathing. If it's real time meditation, we reflect on our focus on our breathing, on our body, on the present moment. What Zen does is it forces you. I'm using the word forces because in the beginning it's very, very hard. So it actually convinces you or forces you to stop thinking about anything. And the key to doing Zen is you just keep focusing on whenever a thought comes in, you need to push it out. That is your hard work in Zen. So what happens is after a couple of practice sessions, you are able to just not think about anything. And that's when you are giving yourself importance. You are not thinking about your body, you are not thinking about the surroundings, you are not thinking about present, past, future. You are just in that moment. And that's the actual practice of Zen, to give yourself worth, to give yourself importance, being in that moment. So that is this Zen meditation. And Zen being in coaching is a step forward by being in that moment and think what you have achieved so far. So in my coaching practice, I help people do a little bit of Zen meditation. And after that, when they are in the current moment, when they are fully present, they are not in their thoughts, they are not in the external pressures, they are nowhere, they are just in front of me, then I help them to do this exercise to sort down what they have achieved so far, and then make a distinction what was luck and what was your hard work. And when they are present in that moment and they are conscious of their hard work, they find out that most of the work they have done is their hard work. And that's where they get that aha moment. Yeah, that was me. That was me who was doing all this struggle. That was me who was achieving all this success. And that is the moment I just help them to, with the help of a little bit of hypnotherapy, to stick to them. And whenever they are back to that imposter syndrome cycle, the exercise they do is just go back to that moment they had just experienced with me, and that's they can help themselves break that cycle.
I think that that's amazing. Is Zen and Kaizen the same
Mhm,
thing?
mhm. Kaizen is a practice. Okay, Zen is a meditation which came from Buddhism, and it was too old a practice, and then we keep on like improvising it. So it's exactly the meditation. What Kaizen is a practice that utilizes the Zen philosophy, and then you do it in the professional setting. It was introduced first by Toyota Motors, and because there was after World War II, there was a lot of backlash in their business, and they were just getting destroyed because of the lack of sales and stuff. And that's when they introduced the Kaizen philosophy. And Kaizen practice is where you give yourself the best experience of working in a team. So it's more of the teamwork. The Kaizen philosophy actually talks about more of being productive and being continuously using improvement. You know what I mean? It means like improving continuously towards a good sense. And Kaizen basically is a combination of two Japanese words, and it means continuous improvement, good improvement. So when you use this practice in professional settings, in trainings and development, it calls itself a Kaizen philosophy.
So Kaizen is continuous improvement. How can the Kaizen philosophy help in managing imposter syndrome?
Oh, that is a wonderful question. So how Kaizen helps? Kaizen, as I explained, it's continuous improvement towards good. So in coaching, when imposter syndrome, um, imposter syndrome is a very kind of cycle where you want to get out, but actually you are not trying to get out, and that's why imposter cycle keeps on like continuous circles. How Kaizen helps is Kaizen takes you out of that moment, of that cycle, step outside, look from the outside that whole cycle as an objective viewer through Zen meditation, right? And once you are out of that cycle and looking into that cycle and observing what was important in that cycle was your efforts, and then continuously step by step making small milestones, giving yourself encouragement when you achieve first milestone and then move on to the next milestone. Not doing like, okay, tomorrow I want to be the best speaker, tomorrow I want to be the best confident person. No, in steps, continuous improvement with little steps towards good. And then that continuous improvement, when it becomes a habit, you are eventually out of that imposter cycle and towards your better self.
I love that you say it helps you become an objective viewer of
Hmm.
yourself. So I think
Hmm.
it helps foster self awareness.
Correct. That's correct. So once you are self-aware, once you know what's happening around, and then you are more objective and accountable. Okay, whatever is uh, present in your life, even if it's success or it's a failure, it's because of you. It's not because of some external forces. So once this awareness comes in, then you become accountable to your success or your career or your life.
What is the process of turning negative inner self dialogue to positive self dialogue?
Mhm. It's again a process. You can't have a quick key to change this dialogue. There are a lot of already practices in the market or in the practice, like doing the positive affirmations, doing gratitude journals, writing about your feelings. But it all takes practice. It all takes a lot of self consciousness to do it. When I say being self conscious, it means not only knowing that, okay, I'll write and then it will come in. Let's say, for example, the positive affirmation. I had a client, and she was quite disturbed with her current emotional situation, and she says positive affirmations doesn't help me. I said, that's the key. When you say it doesn't help you, that means you are not doing it to help yourself. You are doing it just because I asked to do it. When you do it with the mindset of, yes, this positive affirmation will be helpful, then it will change you. It's all about your mindset. When you change your thinking, your perspective, you change the outcome. But if you are doing something continuously with the same mindset or perspective, I'm doing it, but it won't help, it definitely won't help. So changing the positive negative thought pattern into positive pattern, the first step is to being mindful that it will change. And the next step is the practice. Keep doing small steps. Don't pressure yourself. Don't change, don't expect yourself to change it overnight. Give yourself time and give yourself more of the motivation than pressure.
There, I think that that's a very strong point because people do not understand how the affirmations work beyond
Hmm.
just repeating them. I think they
Hmm.
think it's some magic spell.
Correct.
One can
Correct.
say something is supposed to happen and I'm not seeing it happening. So,
Yeah,
yes, you're right. It has to start with your mindset towards the affirmation.
that's very correct. The mindset is very powerful. So it reflects back whatever you gives it. So if you give it a positive information with a negative mind, then it will reflect a negative information back to you. So no, it's not working. I'm a powerful person. No, that's a lie. So when you don't believe in it, what you are saying, it will not work out.
That's true. You work with leaders in organizations.
Mhm.
What, in your opinion, can leaders do to help their colleagues identify and fight imposter syndrome?
Oh, leaders have strong ability and I would say not only the ability but have the opportunity to help their subordinates or their teams to improve a lot. Especially here, I have seen this psychology that in leadership, they are on the higher levels, so the team has to follow it, whatever they say. When they have this mindset, what happens is the team also has this mindset, I'm not putting my best self because I have to follow the instructions. So, this is a continuous process. When the leadership is just expecting the followers or the employees to follow, what happens? Employees don't give their mind more energy to think in different ways, and they just follow because they know they, in the end, they have to follow. Leaders can do great job in changing this status quo or this culture, this professional culture. And how they can do is by introducing small practices during the weekend or their reflection sessions. They don't have to stop their working and do coaching for their employees or their teams. It just take 1 hour in a month or in 15 days to just sit down together and give them opportunity. In them means the employees or the team, to give them opportunity to say whatever they want to say, reflect on whatever they have experienced throughout this 1 month work in their company. Sometimes they will get wonderful responses from the team, and that response will help the company to grow. So leaders have this power to either im- improve their employees' health and mental well-being, and also improve their company's growth, or just follow the pattern and get the success they have been getting, and lose the employees they have the talents, and just follow the status quo.
Yeah, you touched on that. Employees do tend to leave when they feel that they
Hmm.
are not being heard or don't have an opportunity to
Hmm.
foster that kind of communication. So tell us about your work, your books. What motivated you to write your books, especially the book about imposter syndrome, and how people can get to work with you?
Great. So my books. All right, so I had this longing for a long time. I'm a very hardcore book reader. I love reading. I love reading more than the established writers. I like to read more of the new writers, and the reason behind is what is that they have that I don't have, that I'm not writing. That was my psychology back then, that I want to write, but I don't find myself competent enough, that imposter syndrome there, to write. And what these new writers have in speciality that they are writing. So that forced me, or that convinced me to read more of the new writers. And I read many new writers books, self-help books, and other related disciplines. And I found that most of the things they are saying is something I already know. And there is much more to say, but they are not saying that. Maybe they don't know it, or maybe they don't think that it is worth saying. So that was the point when I thought, like, if I know more than what is written in this book, why don't I write myself? And the first book, 55 Habits of Mindset Mastery, was my own practice throughout these past 15 to 20 years that I have been into practice, that I found very helpful for my practice. And then uh, like expanding on that, when I came up to 55 habits, the thought was, who is going to read the 55 habits? I mean, it's too much. But then even it was more than that, then I like precisely made it shorter. And once my book was out, that was the moment I realized it was not too tough. In fact, the having a book in your hand, just like having a child, first child in your hand, and that was wonderful moment. And then I realized, okay, that I already have wrote about my practice. What about my knowledge that I want to share with the world, especially my struggle and how I came out of it, and what helped me to come out of it, and what was stopping me? And that's where imposter syndrome was standing and smiling. Yeah, I was there. So I wrote that book on Dare to Trust Yourself. I mean, what imposter syndrome does is it stops you to trust yourself, to be self aware, to be self confident. That self esteem is nowhere in imposter syndrome. So, my effort in this book was to convince people to trust themselves, not to work hard, not to learn something new, not to get something exceptional, find out something exceptional in their personality which is different from others, but whatever is there, just trust in it. Trust your expertise, trust your personality. And that is the first step. You asked me this question earlier as well. What is the way to come out of this imposter syndrome? The first step is to be there, accept everything, trust yourself, trust that you can do it. Even if the past, all that success was because of the some external favors or the hard luck, but now trust yourself and do from here onwards. Stop indulging yourself in the past successes or the failures or the external good luck. Be there in that moment, trust your abilities, and move forward. That's how you will start trusting yourself, and it needs a dare. The first moment needs to be a daring moment. So that's why I gave the title Dare to Trust Yourself. And because I dared myself in the very beginning, I said, no, that's the moment. I need to work harder and show up myself. And that dare helped me a lot. So I want others to help themselves and trust themselves. And then the third book was Purpose Unlocked, because what I do is purpose driven coaching. So when I speak to many people and I reflect on what I learn from them, I wrote all about that in my book, Purpose Unlocked. People have wonderful purposes, they have wonderful excitements for moving forward, but they are shy or they are scared of the backlashes or the failures. So when they understand that failure is inevitable, then they are okay to move on. So that's what I wrote in Purpose Unlocked. So yeah, that was my whole three child struggle and hard work.
You were to tell us also about if someone wants to get coached by you, how they can
Oh,
reach
sure.
out to you and what to
Sure,
expect.
sure. I would love to help people who are stuck anywhere in their life or who think that they are not worth enough. Trust me, you are worth more than what you have, and you will have everything when you will trust yourself. So how they can reach out to me, they can reach out to my website. There's a link, they can get the chemistry session free of cost. And yeah, here's another offer from this platform, and also through Mary's great effort helping people with imposter syndrome. So um I'm giving away these free coaching sessions of mine to people who think that their imposter syndrome is stopping them to trust themselves. I'll be happy to help them as a gratitude from myself that the success I have achieved with my efforts. That is kind of gratitude towards the society, that I'll be happy to help you in coaching. You just need to write me an email at lifecoachhomera@gmail.com, or you can reach out onto www.humairasy.com and book a session with me, and we can move on with coaching sessions.
All right, so you've heard it from the expert herself. She'll be offering a free coaching session. If you want to see her work, her website, her books, all those links are going to be in the video description. So check that out. And also in the first comment of the video, I'm going to pin it, and you can be able to reach out to her. I'm going to be sending the link to those who signed up. So make sure that you're on my email list so that I can be able to send to you the free coaching link that that she is offering. So we have come to the end. You already asked a question to tomorrow's speaker, Caroline Flanagan, on email. If you're watching, make sure you catch tomorrow's interview. It is the last interview in the summit, so you can see what Humaira asked Caroline Flanagan. But our final parting shot from you, what is your final word on imposter syndrome?
I'll be very quick and short, but very precise. Imposter syndrome is real, and there is nothing to be ashamed of. It's with everybody out there. The people who are standing in front of you and you think that you are an imposter in front of them, trust me, they are also the imposters. Only that they are thinking same like you inside their mind, not expressing it out. So it's not a shame. It's not a weakness, imposter syndrome. Important is just like imposters is real, the same way your hard work, your efforts are also real. Whatever you did in past to overcome that imposter and to prove yourself that you are not an imposter is also real. Just make a small step back, give yourself a moment and make a distinction. What was the good luck and what was the hard work? And trust you will be amazed with the success you have achieved on your own strength. So don't be ashamed of imposter. It will be there. It's still there with me. But what I do is I tell him, stop it. My hard work is also real. If you are real, my hard work is also real. So give yourself a little bit more value, more appreciation, and you will see the wonders happening. Thank you, Mary.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you so much for coming. And you heard it from her. Make sure that you make a distinction. Imposter syndrome is real. Your efforts are real. Do not discount yourself. Do not assume that you did not do it. I think that that's an amazing final word. I want to remind all of you that I am running a post-summit workshop. It's only $37, and you can be able to start on your journey to identifying your very own imposter syndrome type and knowing what to do next. If you feel that imposter syndrome is affecting you, you've watched all of this experts talk about it, where it has come from. Do you wonder if you have it from nurture versus nature? All these questions you can be able to answer during the workshop. It will be a Q&A session, 2 hours, 2 separate sessions, group session, and you want to find out about imposter syndrome. So make sure you visit my website, Mindset with Mary, for mindsetwithmary.com/no imposter, and you will be able to sign up. I hope to hear from you. Tomorrow's speaker is our final speaker. Please don't miss it. It's Caroline Flanagan. Have you wondered if lawyers have imposter syndrome? She is an imposter syndrome coach to lawyers. So that should tell you that the struggle is real. As Humaira has said, imposter syndrome is real. Thank you for coming on today. Make sure you follow Humaira on Instagram, on Facebook. She is in all these places. Check out her links in the video description and in the comment. And remember, your health, your mental health is your wealth. So stay healthy. See you.